Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm
Chad
Russell.
McCanna. Oh.
Whoa! You're just raring to go today.
I am, man. It's an exciting day. I had to introduce myself, even if at the same time as you, just so we could get started. But now I have to spend all this time explaining why I did it, and it's really counterintuitive and unproductive. But who are you?
I said I'm Hyle Russell. If you didn't try to interrupt me, if you weren't so focused on getting your own name out, you would know that by now.
But it wasn't so much that I was focused on getting my name out. It's just I didn't care about your name quite so much.
Everybody's tuning out, Chad. We have lost the audience yet again.
Oh, God, a mere 32 seconds in.
Well, anyway, this is an exciting day, a very, very surprising and unexpected day.
That's right. The FCC has voted to uphold net neutrality.
Right. And, it's just...
That's what everyone is interested in.
Well, I mean, you should be interested in it if you do use the internet in any capacity.
In America.
Well, yeah, I mean, but...
Doesn't really apply to, those filthy Canadians.
But no, the real exciting news is it's that time of year again. It's CPAC, where all of the conservatives are meeting in Washington, D.C. to lay out their agenda for the year.
Yeah, which presumably is going to have at the top of its list overturn the recent vote by the FCC.
No, I mean, that's a weird issue because some conservatives are,
Let's stop talking about this.
Okay, I'm just saying that's actually not quite so much a liberal conservative issue. It's do you use the internet or do you not?
To me, it's more, do you work for a telecom in a capacity where the telecom's profits will put more money in your pocket?
Right. I think the more libertarian wing is against it, where the more pro-business wing is for it, or vice versa. What?
Yeah. Whether for or against makes sense depending on how you interpreted Hyle's sentence. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's right.
Let the listener parse your words.
So anyway, no, we're not going to be talking about CPAC. We're not going to be talking about net neutrality. We will not be talking about the finale of Parks and Recreation.
It was good though, actually. It was
okay. It was a solid.
Oh, you always do this. You always fucking have a middling opinion on something that is objectively great.
It was a solid B+.
The AV Club, which notoriously rates downward, gave it an A.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was a little much that every character gets a fantastically, absurdly happy ending. And I know that stayed true to the show.
That's the whole point of the show, and that's what sets it apart. And in fact, we've had conversations where we both lauded this.
Yes, but as far as the finale goes, I would like a little adversity in their lives. I don't know.
They did have adversity. They had to decide which one of them was better qualified to get an awesome job.
To be governor, yeah.
Well, I tried to leave it a little spoiler friendly, but
whatever. There's like 30 plot points in that episode. I'm not going to spoil you by divulging one.
I will say though that the whole Parks and Rec finale, I kept just saying to Janelle, "This is so weird." It's because without giving anything away on a plot, it basically...
I said we wouldn't be talking about this. You were betraying my word.
I know, I'm sorry. I made you a liar. It flashes forward at random, sometimes 5 years forward, sometimes 20, sometimes question mark in the future where everyone rides in underwater buses. And it was just the strangest thing for a grounded... almost documentary-based sitcom.
I was waiting for the flash sideways. I wasn't sure when that was going to kick in.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked it. It's not a B+. Hyle's wrong.
Okay, but to be fair, I thought the Lost finale was an A+. I graded that way on a curve. So, and it wasn't like a Breaking Bad finale or Lost finale, but it was a solid sitcom finale.
Hyle thinks that the quality of a fictional work is directly proportional to its character's misery.
That's not true. I do not like Misery Report. If I liked Misery Report, I would be the world's biggest Walking Dead fan. And
that's
I
true.
absolutely loathe that show.
Yeah.
Just for that reason. I like positivity. I just think it can't. It's got Okay, whatever. This is a tangent, but.
Well, we wouldn't want one of those in the conversation.
I love Parks and Rec, and I think it's one of the best television comedies of the last, ever. It's
wow.
Definitely. No, it's definitely at least in my top 10. So
top 10 TV comedies of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's Arrested.
Yeah.
And I'm including traditional sitcoms in there like Frasier and Cheers and Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm. Shit My Dad Says.
Right.
I'm sorry. S*******, My Dad Says.
Yeah, Outsourced, of course.
Outsourced was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had that guy from the bank commercial in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or who now does bank commercials.
Well, Jim from The Office does Esurance commercials.
Oh yeah, but just the voice. That's an easy paycheck.
Yeah, his okay. Yeah, sure.
Hey, dude, if I could be paid to talk in a booth for 5 minutes, I'd do it too.
I would do a lot of things in a booth for 5 minutes if I got paid.
I think there's a few websites for that.
So unless I get to wear my Donkey Kong tie. Hey, guys.
Hey.
So we've got a fantastic show, and we've got some pretty big news to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Both related to the Donkey Kong universe, which you probably already know about.
Ideally.
But also pertaining to this show, which also in a roundabout way pertains to the Donkey Kong universe.
And I'm assuming that most people also know about this show that are
yes,
listening.
But there's a big event coming up on this show in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we haven't announced it. This is going to be the formal announcement for it.
Oh, my God. Are you wearing your Sunday best?
My Sunday best is my Diddy Kong shirt I got from Fangamer. So,
ooh. Wow, that's another plug.
But it's currently in the wash, so I'm just nude basically.
Okay.
But I did shave a DK into my chest hair.
Wonderful.
Right.
Well, it's funny you bring up Fangamer because when originally conceived, we thought that the Kongversation would be a good opportunity to have interview-based episodes, and to date, we've only really done them with Fangamer and then with Jamie Guy and Tom Bennett from Left-Handed Games before we got involved on the Lobo Destroyo project.
Right. So we took our interview opportunity and we swindled our way into a job.
Yeah, it was less a podcast interview than a job interview.
That's not actually how we planned it. We just...
and also not so much a job as a twice-a-week nightly volunteer effort. But we're having a lot of fun working on
passion
Lobo.
project, Chad.
That's a good way to put it. So, at any rate, we haven't to date got to have an interview with what I guess you could characterize as our heroes. Basically, the creators of the games that inspired our website, much less our podcast.
I thought you meant like Mahatma Gandhi and Batman and...
the ghost of Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean, we did have Sirhan scheduled, but that kind of fell through.
Yeah. Poor guy. He didn't like what we had to say about him a few episodes ago.
No.
And new listeners, we actually did get on a Sirhan tangent a few episodes ago. That's the kind of show you're listening to.
So you can see why we haven't really landed too many big name interviews.
CIA disinformation. At any rate, what I'm trying to say is we actually have landed such an interview, and we're really excited to have this person on the show, and it dovetails nicely into some of the topic matter we've been discussing for the last few weeks.
We finally got Kevin Eubanks on the show.
No. Well, I'm basically, I was setting you up to be able to announce it.
But... Oh, I'll do it. I'm sorry. I didn't want to blow my chance.
No, you just wanted to make a Kevin Eubanks reference, which you are wont to do.
Oh, look who's talking.
Hyle, you wild man.
All right. Well, basically, in 2 weeks, on March 13th, and it's going to be on a Friday. We're releasing this episode on a Friday. Friday, March 13th, we will have an interview with Chris Sutherland of Playtonic Games, formerly of Rareware.
That's right. This is According to Wikipedia, Christopher Sutherland was born August 4th, 1995. He's an English footballer. He plays in the position of a winger from Lancashire.
Oh, God. I hope we got the right one.
No, this is the Chris Sutherland that hopefully listeners of the show are familiar with. But if you're not, in 2 weeks' time, you will be much more familiar with him. As Hyle said, he's on Playtonic. He's working on the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie that is currently dubbed Project Ukulele.
That's right.
But he has a long and storied history with the larger Donkey Kong universe.
He has a long and storied history with your childhood if you've played any of these games.
Right.
I mean, oh my God, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, the voice of Banjo, the voice of the DK Rap, the Killer Instinct announcer.
Daniel Carrington. No, but he's a software engineer, programmer is the layman way to put it, and he's also currently the project director on Ukulele. But he had 25 years experience at Rare until he transitioned over in the games industry, a la Kevin Callahan. But we're extremely excited to get Chris on the show. He's been nothing but absolutely polite. Both he and Gavin Price from Playtonic, who we've also talked with. But aside from announcing this up front, we did have one other thing that we wanted to touch on related to this interview. Right.
I need to actually do some research, find out what Rareware actually is, because it's embarrassing. I've been faking that this whole time. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Once again, I was trying to set you up to say actual information, and you went nowhere with it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We really need to iron out our rat-a-tat before we get Chris Sutherland on. A rat-a-tat rap.
That would be more apropos.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, I want to peck him in the eyes.
Yeah. Which, by the way, was an impression of Chris Sutherland because he is the voice of Kazooie.
We're just gonna ask him to do impressions, aren't we? Like, or not impressions, to actually voice these things that we're so enamored with.
I think what will happen is Hyle and I will do a cappella renditions of the music of Banjo-Kazooie, and we'll ask Chris Sutherland to do all the sound effects, and we'll give you an entire an audio playthrough of the game.
No, okay, so this is why we're bringing this up now rather than surprising you on Friday the 13th. We want you to send us questions that you would like us to ask Mr. Sutherland.
That's
Sutherland.
right.
Sutherland.
Yeah. You gotta play it by the books, man. It's all business.
Yeah.
Sutherland, get over here. Talk to us on the show. I like the cut of your gib, Sutherland.
Gib or jib?
I don't know. However Jeff Stebbins pronounces it.
Okay. Well, we want you to ask some questions. We're not going to take all of your questions because we're only going to have them for about an hour. But we will take the absolute best questions you want us to ask Chris Sutherland.
Right. And you can pose these questions in a number of ways. What I would suggest is give us a call on the DK Vine hotline. That's 1-281-410-5664. Once again, 1-281-410-5664. Leave us a message. You may want to write out your question in advance, but if you stumble and hang up in a panic, we will, call back and we'll ignore the first call. Don't worry, we won't make you sound stupid. But ask him a question. You can also go to the DK Vine forum at dkvine.com/forum and ask your question in the Kongversation thread, which is in general DKU discussion.
That's right.
And either of those will work. And as Hyle said, we'll go through the best of them. By our opinion, anyway, we'll give them to Chris at least a few days in advance, so he can start thinking about them, and then we'll have him answer them on the show. But we do need to establish a cutoff for this, since we have a set date where we're recording with him. Please get your questions into us by midnight Eastern Standard Time on March 6th.
That's right, which is a Friday,
yeah,
right?
That Friday night, basically.
So Friday, as it becomes March 6th or as March 6th ends?
As March 6th ends. So that Friday night, Eastern Standard Time, midnight, we're cutting it off.
So technically, it's March 7th we're cutting it off.
Yes, 12:0001 a.m. March 7th, your calls will no longer be accepted.
Okay.
Jesus. Do I need to list out the Unix epoch time code that we will stop accepting them?
No, I just want the clarification because midnight is this nebulous thing. Is it night? Is it morning? Is it this day? Is it that day?
Sure. Friday night. Anyway, the reason for that is so we have an opportunity to go through them and let the good Mr. Sutherland have an opportunity to review them. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So, and be thoughtful with your questions. Like, we're not going to just ask him the same old crap that everybody asked him. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we will.
I can tell you up front, there's not going to be any stop and swap questions.
Aside from the first 55 or so minutes of the show. It's going to be exclusively stop and swap.
This is our chance.
No, but anything kind of past, present, future is fair game. If there's something that's not fair game, it won't make it on the show. But, feel free to ask. And, we'll be the first gatekeepers. And then, Chris will be one as well. But, we're very excited to have him on the show. And we're sure that that you, the listeners, will be just as excited and polite and respectful and just have a good time with it. So
yeah, we're gonna have to keep our act clean, Chad. You realize that, right?
Clean-ish. We're going to be on slightly better than normal behavior, I think is safe to say.
I mean, yeah, we'll be wearing cummerbunds and
DK neckties and nothing else.
Yes. Or, we could also wear, tight shorts, yellow shorts, and a backpack.
And nothing else.
That's right.
That's kind of the Donkey Kong universe wardrobe is article of clothing and nothing else.
Well, they live in mostly tropical climates. They've got to stay cool.
That's true. So, anyway, that's that's our big news, but there's some non-Kongversation news going on as well.
But we'll get to that. We got to get through some due diligence.
Oh yeah. I guess you want to make that one the meat of the show.
Well, that is the meat of the show, Chad. I mean, this isn't like Sutherland isn't going to be the meat of our show until 2 weeks from now. So
okay. Well, I don't know. I thought you might have wanted to talk about what Jimmy Fallon's up to or Saved by the Bell. I mean, there's all kinds of weird television tangents we could go down.
There is, but quite honestly, Jimmy Fallon bores me. And he's sitting in Conan's throne, and
see, I tricked you into one.
God damn it!
Yeah,
and he always does these. He always wants to do Saved by the Bell reunions. So I don't know that guy, Jimmy Fallon. No,
see, there's a Saved by the Bell tangent I tricked you into.
Damn it! Anyway,
did
you hear Screech stabbed the guy?
No, really?
Oh yeah, that was
Dustin Diamond.
Yeah, a month or so ago. Yeah, he stabbed the guy in a bar.
What? Okay, good for you, Screech.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah. At least he's still making the headlines. I don't know where Miss Bliss has gone.
Yeah, it's not been a good morning for her for a long time.
All right. So anyway, we've already plugged the DK Vine hotline. Once again, that's 1-281-410-KONG.
If you want to call, if you want to call the Kongversation, it's 1-281-410 and a word.
We haven't been getting many calls lately.
We've been getting a lot of calls for one person in particular.
Yeah. This person has kind of taken away, Scrap's crown. The crown that used to belong to Scrap 69. Mm-hmm. I guess Scrap 69. I don't know what happened to him. I'm assuming autoerotic asphyxiation or some sort of sexual calamity.
Yeah. Complications arisen from diamond mining.
So he was in Dustin Diamond's sex tape.
That's right. Hey lads. But and then of course there was the pretender to the hotline throne, Master DS, but we never really played his calls.
You never play. I was always willing to play his calls.
Don't lie. I'm
not lying. You're the one who has the vendetta.
I have no vendetta. I just don't like our hotline being used as a platform for someone's hacky comedy bits.
Right. Yeah, this is our platform for our hacky comedy bits.
Precisely.
Get your own show.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you can join the DK Vine forum, which we also plugged at dkvine.com/forum. And honestly, with all the news happening today, with your chance to ask Chris M. Effer Sutherland.
Oh, I was like, wow, you know his middle initial?
with the chance to ask the man responsible for your childhood questions. There's never been a better time to join. And I dare you to challenge me on that, Chad.
I challenge you.
Really?
Yeah.
When has there been a better time to join?
2002, December 18th.
2002. So...
Are you actually trying to figure out what was going on 2002, December 18th?
That was December 18th, 2002. Yeah, the site just came back from being Greenporn City.
I pulled a date out of my ass.
Well, no, I mean, think about the chronology there.
I don't want to.
Okay. So anyway, subscribe to DK Vine on iTunes. You can rate us on iTunes. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and tell your friends about the show because it's a great show to tell them about.
Yeah. This is how you get friends. Turn them on to this train wreck.
Hey, we're getting a lot of new fans through Facebook, so
it is nice to see, though. I think today you posted an update about the big news that will comprise the meat of the show, and it fucking exploded.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, we can't compete with Kotaku, who also ran the news and got about, I think we only got about 1/10 of their heat off this news story, but
nor can we compete with Go Nintendo, which always has the latest IGN videos hot off the presses.
Oh, well, you know, I like getting my IGN news through a middleman because then I don't feel as dirty.
Yeah. You're not constantly under a barrage from advertisements.
It's like laundering money, you know? It's I don't want to know where this filth came from, but I do want to get the content. So if we can just clean this up a bit, make it feel like it's coming from a news site I trust.
Yeah. Wait, do you trust Go Nintendo?
More than IGN, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly, games journalism, I have to pause and try and put verbal air quotes around
there's no journalism involved.
Exactly.
It's let's wait till the companies send us stuff to run. You're essentially a middleman for the companies.
Yeah, and then you can give a review based on
personal biases. Yes,
personal biases and or your media conglomerate ownership's financial
Gamergate.
Yeah. I really care nothing for the Gamergate movement.
Oh no, we're not ever going to discuss that on this show.
But regardless, games journalism is a misnomer. It's an oxymoron.
I mean, to be fair, we were having Belcha from Donkey Kong Country 3 complain about bias in games journalism long before Gamergate.
That's true. that was from the hit DK Vine Flash video Meyamuki Roketo Dan.
Because IGN gave like Donkey Kong 64 like I don't know an 8 something.
No, I think they gave it like a 9.2 and it really pissed us off.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
go ahead, meathead.
Ow, Archie.
Wait, what was the point of that? Did you just have to continue your Edith Bunker impression?
I couldn't do a Rob Reiner, so I just went back to Edith.
Yeah, I can't do a Rob Reiner's a weird one because he just sort of has kind of a normal voice.
Yeah, it's hard to do normal voices.
I could do Trey Parker as Rob Reiner. Hey, I'm Rob Reiner. This is my name. My goo. It's coming out of my body. I'm Trey Parker. Although I do love Trey Parker, so he's just a terrible impressionist, but a fucking brilliant writer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
No, that's Grant.
That was Grant Kirkhope.
Yeah.
That's not. Trey Parker.
Mr. Sutherland. Okay.
No, Mr. Sutherland is, I'm buying Joe.
A whole world of Xbox. Yeah. Remember when they actually tried to have a full sentence of it? I don't want to blow our wad right now. We need to save all that discussion for when he's actually on the air.
And point of advice, let's not refer to us asking him questions as blowing our wad. Because
yes, that's true too.
I feel like, we have 2 weeks to go, like 13 days broadcast time. We could really screw this up in that meantime. So we got to keep it.
Should we just stop talking right now until we get on Skype with him?
We should just go dark, really.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're even trying to have episodes in between, because this is going to be a recipe for disaster.
Right. We're only going to get him to back out. That's all we could possibly do at this point.
Yeah, there's going to be a scandal just involved with him granting us an interview.
This is like when George Costanza has a good date, he realizes he can never see her again. That's it, Jerry. That's it.
Here's what we'll do. We'll take a minute or two off. Mm-hmm. We'll recalibrate. Mm-hmm. We're gonna let somebody on the DK Vine hotline take over the show. We'll listen to what they have to say.
I wonder who it is.
And then we'll respond, and hopefully we'll be a lot more professional, a lot more tame. Mm-hmm. We won't be referring to blowing any bodily fluids all over the place.
Oh, so this can. You do realize blowing your wad is a firearm-based term, right? You made it filthy.
Wad? Who refers to bullets as wads?
People who use muskets.
I mean, I know there's like correlation there between having a gun and the size of your... Okay.
We really need to get better at this.
We're quite awful at this. Now we're sprouting out somewhat controversial political opinions, and why don't we just take this call? I'm gonna go lie down, put an ice pack over my head.
All right.
And when I come back, I'll be a new man.
Let's see what happens.
Hey, you guys, it's me again. Mamechi, and I just got finished watching the Flintstones and WWE crossover. I think it was called the Flintstones and WWE Stone Age SmackDown. But anyway, first things first, yes, it's a thing that exists. And it was pretty bad, actually. They gave all the wrestlers a bunch of bad rock puns, but that's it. While watching that, I thought, this is exactly the thing that DKU needs. A completely irrelevant crossover, something that doesn't even relate to the DKU. So, what do you think? Think of one thing to cross over the DKU with that it just seems like it never happened. Who knows? Maybe it will happen. Just look at this. But in my opinion, what could work well with the DKU? I've been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares, so maybe we could have Gordon Ramsay visit the Rare Island chain or something. Look, I don't know, but can you guys come up with some off-the-walls crossover with something? Thanks again, you guys. See you now.
Thank you for the call, Mamechi. Strange as always.
Oh, you meant Mamechi.
Yeah,
oh.
It was Mamechi all along. I do love that Mamechi always regales us with these extremely specific scenarios that we need to work within.
Yeah, I mean...
But I have to say, Gordon Ramsay visiting the Rare Island chain is inspired. Inspired by madness and possibly a mind-altering substance? Who's to say?
I'm trying to think what kitchens he could judge. And I really
Moss Soups will.
I don't know if you can really consider England to be part of the Rare Island chain.
Yeah. Well, he could possibly go to the Isle of Hags and direct them how to make the most amazing McJiggy's sandwich burgers. But
I don't know.
No, okay. Well,
not a Gordon Ramsay fan.
I like Gordon Ramsay.
No, yeah, I don't. He's said. I don't know.
Wait, what has he said? I know nothing about his off-TV statements.
Oh, no. He's just really had some violent things to say about vegetarians. So I'm just like, screw you.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things.
And it's not like in a kind of a jesting manner like Anthony Bourdain. It's like I will violently throttle any vegetarian I see.
What? That's a bit extreme.
Well, he's a chef. He doesn't like being told what he can and cannot cook. So
I don't think that's how chefs generally think, but throwing an entire cooking industry under the bus.
Well, whatever. Chefs.
I don't know. I like Gordon Ramsay. I think that I think his UK shows are much more tolerable. Whatever the Fox network does in editing, basically turning everything up to 11, it really gets under my skin. But
okay.
As a human being, I tend to like what I see of him on English television.
All right. Well, look, Gordon Ramsay was Mamechi's idea, and
that's true. And what an idea.
So I say we come up with our own irrelevant crossover.
You say we do exactly what he asked us to do?
What's that?
You say that we should do exactly what he asked us to do?
Yes. So here's my idea.
What's yours?
For a completely irrelevant crossover with the DKU.
Uh-huh.
All right. I call it Mario versus Donkey Kong. All right. And
okay.
What we do is we take Mario, we take Donkey Kong, but we don't really put them in the game.
Yeah.
Instead, we make it a Lemmings clone with little Mario toys.
Ooh, I like that idea, but I would actually do something a little different. I would still keep the name. I love it. Mario, Donkey Kong, nowhere in the game. I think it's pitch perfect so far, but instead of a Lemmings clone, that's been kind of played out. Let's make it a Pipe Mania clone.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, can we remove Mario and Donkey Kong any more than we already have?
Well, they need to be somewhere in the game. So, the fans...
They're in the title. What more do you need?
Well, the fans need a little bit of something to sink their teeth into. Maybe a title screen that has one of the characters blinking or something, so they know it's a physical presence. I really think that's what the fans are looking for. We don't have that much of a
budget in this game, Chad. Can we reduce the blinking animations?
We can get it down to 2 frames.
Okay, 1.5.
What? I don't think that's how frames work.
I don't care. If
all right,
you want this game made, we got to make it work.
Fair enough. We will devise a new analog-based rendering system, so we only have 1.5 frames.
That sounds expensive. You know what? Let's just cut Donkey Kong out of it completely, but keep the name Mario versus Donkey Kong.
But all those Donkey Kong fans are going to want a physical presence of Donkey Kong in this amazing game.
You're a funny son of a bitch.
So that's your idea, huh?
No, I don't know. Like, what do you want, Momenchi? Like, here's the idea I thought of listening to this call.
I think what. I'm sorry to interrupt you when you were already on that great trajectory, but. I don't think Mamechi wants to hear our ideas so much as show the world his brilliance, because I say it sounded like I was making fun, but Mamechi, the way your mind works is beautiful. You are the Kevin
like
Spacey. It wasn't Kevin Spacey. It was Russell Crowe. What was I thinking of? American Beauty. Yeah. Never mind. Okay,
You're thinking of,
I was thinking of the one where Kevin Spacey wanks over here, his teenage neighbor.
Right. Oh, I was thinking of Kevin Sorbo. But
Hercules.
I usually think of him when wanking. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I don't. My idea was, okay, you want a weird random crossover? Okay, O.J. Simpson could stab Amber from Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Hey, remember before we took this call when we said that we would try and be on better behavior for it?
It's Mamechi's fault. Mamechi can't say. Mamechi starts a call saying, I just got done watching the Flintstones WWE crossover. What are we supposed to do with that?
You can only go down from there. That is the high watermark of this episode.
Maybe if he said, I watched the Scooby-Doo WWE crossover, we'd have something to work with. And yes, there are Hanna-Barbera properties, Chad, so I know this is not in your wheelhouse. So
is WWE is a Hanna-Barbera property?
No, Scooby-Doo and Flintstones are.
Yeah, I was making another off the cuff humorous statement.
Oh, well, but apparently WWE is now a Hanna-Barbera.
Wait, is it actually? Or
Well-
were you yes-ending me?
Well, no, they're crossing over with the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo.
Oh,
so.
I guess in universe now, same as the Harlem Globetrotters.
But wait, if they crossed over with Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones are like the Flintstones versions of the wrestlers, like the ancestors?
Yeah,
of...
it all takes place in a poorly animated snow globe.
This is a serious question. I mean, this always bugged me because the Flintstones and the Jetsons take place in the same shared universe, and because of Wacky Races and all these other shows, they're all kind of interconnected.
Wait, wacky racism? What?
Wacky Races.
Oh, okay.
How did you get wacky racism?
I was going with another byproduct of the 60s.
Jesus. I don't know. Does that give you what you want, Mamechi? I don't really know what you want from us here.
See, that's the fun thing about Mamechi's calls. We're never quite sure whether we've answered his question.
Yeah, let's.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing.
Meat and potatoes. What do we got?
Meat and potatoes.
The meat and two veg. Yeah.
Okay, you want the meat of the episode.
That's right.
Well, Chad, we're recording this on February 26th in the year of our Lord 2015.
Yes.
So today, about 10 a.m. Eastern time, some news broke via Nintendo.
That's right.
Via Nintendo of America.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke on their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving you the opportunity here to announce it since you gave me Chris Sutherland.
Mm-hmm. Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Jesus.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to, because I know the way your mind works. I know where this is going.
It was going to be something horrible. I'm not even going to bother. Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Land, both trilogies in their entirety, were just dumped on the eShop today. Out of nowhere.
Okay, if you've been following this show for the past half year, then you know the long wait we've had. This all started when Donkey Kong Land 1 was put on the Japanese eShop.
Right. Well, no, it all started when the Donkey Kong Country trilogy was unceremoniously yanked from the Virtual Console.
That's right, yeah, but that for like 2 years or so, over 2 years, it's not been on there, and it's kind of been a mystery. I think it's been over 2 years.
Oh, it's been well over. Yeah, I mean, it was pulled a long time ago, and ever since then, we've sort of been in the dark about it. And people...
And of course, as often in these situations, there's been a lot of unfounded rumors about why they pulled it. Like, oh, Microsoft's not letting them use the Rare logo, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Kremlings are still owned by Microsoft, which is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's the far outlier there. That's what the crazy people say. But anybody who knows anything knows that's not true.
I'll have you know that I got some significant comment karma on Reddit by correcting people on that very point.
Oh, well
yeah.
I'm glad that they gave you karma for that when it wasn't a meme that they understood.
Oh no, I had to communicate exclusively through memes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Through the Ron Paul, it's happening.
Actually, I used the Captain Hindsight, and I said, if you didn't want to be corrected, you shouldn't have been a fucking dipshit. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Something bad luck, Brian.
You really don't know anything about the internet, do you?
No, I don't.
Actually, you're very good at Facebook.
I have, yeah, thank you. Out of all of our social media networks, I think I am excelling in my what I'm responsible for. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think
we're very good at podcasting, by the way.
You dick. One of the rumors I heard was because David Wise and Eveline Fisher were inspired by classic rock, none of the music is usable, and so the games had to be pulled.
Hey, that didn't stop Earthbound, which used actual samples from Beatles songs.
Right, and that was the rumor for the longest time why Earthbound wasn't on the Virtual Console. So there's silly stuff like that.
Also, like, David Wise reused one of his songs that is basically a Vangelis song. Vangelis? How is it pronounced?
I think it's
Vangelis? Yeah. Anyway, the theme to Antarctica, a 1980s, I think, documentary with the Vangelis soundtrack is basically in a snowbound land from Donkey Kong Country 2, which he reappropriated for Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
So there's that theory out the window.
To be fair, a lot of these theories were pre-Tropical Freeze before David Wise came back to the series. And yeah, stuff like, they reference Killer Instinct in Donkey Kong Country 2, and now Microsoft is reviving that, so we got to get that off the eShop.
Oh, the Rare logo is in the game because they fucking developed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, no, because, Killer Instinct, was in the Monkey Museum in DKC 2.
Right.
Yeah, so anyway. But yeah, so we really don't know what happened there. We still have no explanation, but it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Because
but continuing on with the history, though, I mean, they disappeared, but and we heard nothing. But then in the last year or so, they showed up on non-North American services.
That's right. Like an abducted child who winds up overseas with a new hair color.
What?
When they abduct children, they change their appearance so that the parents can't find them.
Who is they?
Child abductors.
Oh, okay. The kind of people who
our target audience.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I think Donkey Kong Land first appeared on the Japanese eShop, and then Donkey Kong Land 2 and then Donkey Kong Land 3. They were staggered, but of course the Japanese Donkey Kong Land 3 was the Game Boy Color version, which we never got on these shores or in Europe or Australia, for that matter.
That is Donkey Kong Land 3, Dinky Kong, Dixie Kong, and Dinky Kong is the title of that game.
Yeah, or it's not even Donkey Kong Land 3. It's Donkey Kong.
3. Yeah. It's Super Donkey. I don't know what they call the Donkey Kong Land game. I don't know. We should ask Milo, who's working on the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
it was a colorized version of the game, colorized by Rare, but never released in the English language, or at least
it's really weird.
Yeah. You'd think there would be like some European release that would have an English option, but was it just Japan that got it?
Just Japan.
That is so weird. Okay.
Anyway, so because they got the Donkey Kong Land trilogy, that really got us excited because any day now they're going to announce in North America and Europe Donkey Kong Land. Well, eventually Europe got Donkey Kong Land, and they got Donkey Kong Country, all three games back as well in this promo where you could save on, I think, Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. You get like 30% off those games if you buy all of the games in the corresponding trilogy. So
I know, you just buy one of them.
Oh, really? Just one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you buy one land, then you'll get a discount on Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D on the 3DS eShop. If you buy one country title on the Wii U eShop, then you'll get the discount on Tropical Freeze.
Downloading it, you're not going to get a physical copy of it, but yeah.
No, that's true. They're not going to email you a coupon that you can print out and take to your favorite game retailer.
That'd be great if they did, just because those games eat up a lot of memory.
They're huge. I didn't know this, but Tropical Freeze is like 12 gigs.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't download games or at least new games. Obviously I'm downloading these games, but
right.
It's just like, no, that's a lot of memory that would be better served elsewhere.
Yeah, so. And these days, indie titles are getting bigger and bigger as those projects get more and more complex. So I'd prefer to save my first and second party games for discs because they take up a whole lot. The only exception I would make is a game that's kind of tailor made to be played in little bite-sized chunks, a la Smash Brothers that I mentioned earlier in the show's history. There's got to be a cleaner way to say that I mentioned at a previous point in the unidirectional flow of time.
eventually we're going to make a super cut of all of the Kongversation episodes. It's just going to be edited one after another. So that will be technically correct in the director's cut of the Kongversation.
Is that the laziest that you can get and still be able to call it a supercut? It's just butting them all up against each other?
Yes.
All right. So it's not so much cutting as sequentially arranging. It's a super sequential arrangement.
Yes, but we'll also add new scenes too. In the tradition of Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. So the extended edition. Right.
That's right.
Now with more superfluous goblin songs.
I'm just saying, I love the goblin songs.
Down in Goblin Town.
Down in Goblin Town. So it's really a shame that they didn't re-release the soundtrack to that so they could add the Hobbit, the Hobbit Goblin songs.
Jesus Christ. I would like to see that sequence, the down in Goblin Town song, like juxtaposed with like the Mines of Moria sequence from Fellowship of the Ring, just completely fucking tonally different.
The Hobbit was a children's book, right? They are tonally different.
No, I understand that, but Peter Jackson's take on the Hobbit doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Nor how long the fuck it wants to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I am such a huge Lord of the Rings fan and so terribly disappointed with The Hobbit.
Oh, just give them another chance. I'm not saying they run.
No, what do you mean another chance? I'm not going to go see the Silmarillion.
I'm just saying they don't hold up to the Lord of the Rings, but again, it's The Hobbit, so it's just a quaint little backstory that's expanded into epic size scale. Granted.
Thank you. But that's what I'm saying. It is a quaint little backstory. So let's make a quaint little movie.
Yeah, but then you couldn't see Kate from Lost doing stuff.
Yeah, making lovey eyes at a man who is barely vagina height. Maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why.
That could come in handy. Yeah.
Okay.
And to be fair, she dated Charlie from Lost in real
Dominique
life. So,
Monaghan?
yeah, they were engaged in actuality. So.
Oh, I never made that connection. He was Mariotica Brandybuck.
Yes, so she is used to getting nasty with men half her size.
Mm-hmm. And as it's a prequel, she has gotten nasty in the pasty.
That's right. But in the grand tradition of Lost, we'll eventually see her afterlife as well.
It all just coalesces in a pop culture referential clusterfuck. That's all this show really is.
That's really all it is. Yeah. Chris Sutherland better bone up on the X-Files.
We're really gonna quiz him on what Skinner is up to these days.
Yeah. Well, obviously rescuing Mulder from a transgendered mad scientist in the West Virginia mountains.
Yeah. I'm convinced that Alex Krycek is actually still alive and still using a button to make his blood explode.
His blood explode.
All I have to do is press this button and your blood explodes. Oh, man, that show got so bad.
So anyway, any more of the history here? Europe got them, and then
it was a lot of nothing. It was it was one of those things where it's like they never explicitly said that North America wasn't getting them as part of this promotion, but all you could see when you looked at these announcements was a giant North America shaped hole.
Well, and the thing is, like, the silence was kind of chilly at times.
Right.
Because after Tropical Freeze, and there's no correlation to be had between the fact that I just said chilly and then segued into Tropical Freeze. I just want to be clear.
Right. Yeah, you absolutely want everyone to know that you did not intend to make the pun that you've just underscored.
No, I am not that clever, nor is this show that planned out.
Right.
But after Tropical Freeze, after the initial promotion for that game died down, it really did feel like Nintendo of America in particular was kind of back, way slowly from Donkey Kong Country. Like, oops, sorry about that, guys.
Well,
we like Metroid. We really do like Metroid.
Yeah, and I think that I wouldn't have even read that into it were it not for probably Reggie Fils-Aimé, the aforementioned Reggie, wearing a Samus pin when they did the Cranky Kong announcement, and
Yes.
I think that was perfectly appropriate for him to do, because there was a ridiculous, unnecessary amount of should have been Metroid backlash after
Which, to be fair, is kind of finally subsiding a year later.
It's so stupid. It's so it is the voices. I would like to think that those voices in the Metroid fandom are just the vocal minority. I have no way of knowing that, because I'm really not going to delve into it that much. That would involve becoming a cultural anthropologist of Metroid fandom, and that's a bit more than I'm willing to. I don't want to be do a Diane Fossey thing with them, because we all know how that turned out.
That's right, and you need your hand to play video games.
That's right. Although maybe if they cut it off, they can replace it with an arm cannon. But
speaking of Reddit and memes, I think the absolute lowest point I saw for this Tropical Freeze backlash via the Metroid fans was a Reddit meme of Dave Chappelle's crackhead character. And
the one where he's like, "You guys got any more of that blank?"
Yeah. So it said, like, shortly after Tropical Freeze came out, somebody posted this, and it got upvoted to Reddit's main page, and it said, "Hey Retro Studios," you click on it, "y'all got any more of them Metroid games?" And it's like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that it was perfectly appropriate for Reggie to wear the pin. He was being diplomatic. And
also kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah, and it is perfectly fine. But the fact that he did that acknowledged that they're aware of this backlash, and then it was a very easy next leap for us to make, or at least for us to suspect that perhaps some of that backlash was playing into the decision to not release it in North America. But
and then it becomes so political in your mind, where you become like a cable news pundit, where you try to look for this bias in your head at every turn. So every time Samus was used or promoted or featured instead of Donkey Kong, you were just like, are they trying to run from Donkey Kong now?
Right. And also, much like a cable news pundit, we go exclusively to the Twittersphere for all of our information.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's where all the breaking news happens.
Right, yeah.
It's 2K15, Chad.
That's true. The world operates 140 characters at a time.
That's right.
It's a new age. So, we were, we always had to take a step back, though, and just acknowledge, and I think just all, I don't mean us as in you and me, us as in DK Vine, us as in basically the entire DK Vine forum kind of community. We were all pretty good about recognizing that all of this is hearsay. We're possibly reading way too much into it. I think that we've done a pretty good job as a collective writhing mass of id of maintaining a relatively level head.
Yeah, every time it starts to trend to the negative, I've tried to step in and say, hey guys, you're being silly.
Well, a lot of people step in and try and do that too.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm saying just from personal experience, I've had to do it a couple of times, and I know other people have as well. And it's we're kind of self-policing so we don't spiral down into that awful state of being that we were back in 2007.
I think that might be a lot of what it is, because it seems to be the legacy DK Viners that are more active in taking that stance. So I think
we're also more active in trending towards a negative initially too before we but
the fact that we have that historical perspective of this is what happens when your fandom goes negative, we all like really want to ease up on those reins.
And DK Vine is finally I think we finally this year or last year have finally dug ourselves out of that hole, where we're no longer considered the cauldron of hatred and bile that we once were.
But
I remember when Donkey Kong Country Returns was announced, everybody was saying, "Oh, I bet they hate this at DK Vine."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's the whole renaissance that our site has undergone.
But that was like the day it was announced, because they just thought, oh, a non-rare Donkey Kong Country game, they're gonna hate this no matter what at DK Vine.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Getting my getting my news via text message while sitting on a toilet in between scoring standardized tests for the state of Texas. What a life.
Having to mark incorrect on every answer that sided with evolution.
Oh God, so many papers talked about how evolution was a farce, and that had nothing to do with the prompt. It was always shit like write about a time when you felt independent, or or like write about an adventure you've had, and people just go on these anti-science screeds.
Talk about Rosa Parks' courage.
Right. Well, first of all, evolution is a farce. Gravity.
Let's just be clear. Just because I am in a classroom doesn't mean I subscribe to your science and facts.
Yeah. Thomas Jefferson, the greatest Christian our nation has ever seen, agrees with me that evolution and gravity are just theories. It was that kind of shit that you get on standardized tests in the state of Texas. I have firsthand experience. I can say that. So that's what I was doing when the news of Donkey Kong Country Returns broke.
And then you said apes and monkeys, like I came from them.
Right. Clearly, they look like cartoons.
Anyway, I know I'm not wearing prosthetic golfing fingers.
So, at any rate, that was a great time for us. But, it's surprising to me to hear that people thought we would balk at that announcement. But that really is what led us into this renaissance. But so we've tried to keep. To be fair,
I mean, yeah, before the Renaissance, you had the Black Plague. So, you've got to have these historical steps to get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. And I'm doing everything I can on this show to fight the another Inquisition. But our listeners don't seem to like that very much.
Anyway,
sorry, I have to offend someone religious. It's like one of those check boxes that I have for each episode.
So join us in 2 weeks as we'll be featuring our It's Mr. Pants Spotlight.
Yes, programming is liable to change at any moment. No. Anyway, so we've always wanted to keep. Well, ever since then, we've wanted to keep the site and as much control as we have over the fandom as sort of our de facto positions as steering committee members.
Well, I mean, the most we can be is ambassadors of goodwill.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like we have no control over what fans of anything think, but as fellow fans and those that have a platform for their hacky comedy bits on a weekly basis, we might be able to get people thinking in a more positive direction.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes the backlash towards Tropical Freeze brought me down, especially during the time when Nintendo was kind of on radio silence about getting these games on the eShop, and and then there's the whole Smash Brothers 4 era where it was just the negativity was reopened, and luckily it's been contained again. But
that's right. But Walter Peck is going to come up to that containment unit any moment and announce DLC.
And then Melissa McCarthy will star in the reboot.
Oh God. Do you think they're gonna have a female chair of the EPA and a female member? And I mean, is it gonna be just like every dick in Ghostbusters is now replaced with a vagina? Oh!
It's true. She has no clip.
I was gonna say, yeah. What do you think they're gonna do with that line?
Well, I don't think they're just gonna. They're not just gonna reuse the script and use find and replace.
He'll say it's false, Your Honor. This woman has no dick. That's what they'll do.
I guarantee you, there's gonna be a scene where Melissa McCarthy eats a ghost and shits it out, and it's gonna be writhing out of her.
I hope she shits it out into a receptacle that's not conventionally meant to contain shit. That would make it extra hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what did I eat? Oh, and it's
I ate a ghost.
But don't worry, because Paul Feig, he says that he is taking great inspiration from The Walking Dead for this Ghostbusters reboot.
In fairness to Paul Feig, he did say that on The Talking Dead. So consider the audience.
Yeah, but I get all of my hard news from Chris Hardwick.
Yeah.
So... which is why I'm so positive and upbeat about everything.
Clearly. Did you know that Dan Aykroyd still thinks that that there's a chance that he could make his Ghostbusters 3? Despite the fact that he has one Ghostbuster that's totally disinterested, one Ghostbuster that's retired, and one Ghostbuster that is actually dead.
Yeah, but that's a good start for a Ghostbusters movie.
What, Dan Aykroyd and Annie Potts and possibly Sigourney Weaver as Ghostbusters?
And a Ouija board to communicate with Harold Ramis.
Yeah, and once again, they'll make Ernie Hudson show up halfway through the movie.
So long as there's a steady paycheck involved.
Right.
So,
you know what I really liked Ernie Hudson in? Congo. He was...
No. Abort.
No, I'm just saying, he and Tim Curry seemed to be the only people in that movie that realized what a train wreck it was as they were shooting it. And they swung for the fences.
I think the saddest Ernie Hudson story is where he actually auditioned for the role of Winston on the real Ghostbusters cartoon, and he didn't get the part.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's tragic. Oh, my God. Poor Ernie Hudson.
I know. They gave it to Arsenio Hall instead.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know Arsenio was That is really depressing. I like Ernie Hudson. He's a fantastic actor.
And then, of course, Lorenzo Music was Peter Venkman.
And we all know the Garfield thing, yeah.
But then he was eventually replaced by Dave Coulier.
What?
Yeah, Dave. In the later seasons of Real Ghostbusters, Peter Venkman was voiced by Dave Coulier.
Oh, that explains all the Bullwinkle crossovers.
Well, no, but then Dave Coulier did Bill Murray impressions on Full House, so it's just God.
Wait, did he? What was it? Caddyshack impressions?
Caddyshack,
Of course. That's the go-to Bill Murray.
And yeah, I mean, you just got to think in the realm of hacky Dave Coulier routines, and
right. Is there any other kind of Dave Coulier routine?
Is there any other conversation routine?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not ones to talk.
No, we're considering we just de-evolved once again into random pop culture references.
That's why people keep listening, Hyle.
I think that's why people keep tuning out, Chad.
Okay. Well, clearly you look at the glass half empty. All right. So I forgot how we got down this chain, but it was probably some Melissa McCarthy announcement that Nintendo made.
That's right. She's going to be Samus Aran in the Netflix version of Metroid.
You know, did we really touch on the fact that Netflix is making a Zelda show live action?
Yeah, I mean, more power to them. I will say.
I'll watch it, but
it sounds like Nintendo's going to be pretty hands off with it, right?
I don't know. I think it doesn't.
It's shocking that Nintendo licensed it because after the Super Mario Brothers movie, they have been notoriously strict about licensing out characters and franchises for television or movies.
Right. I think that it's going to be difficult. The fact that Link is a silent protagonist. The thing is, there are thousands of ways that they could very easily fuck it up, but only maybe one or two ways to do it correctly. And I haven't given it enough thought to figure out what those ways are. But knowing how television writing is generally done, I doubt they are either. So I think it's an almost...
Here's what I want to see from it.
Yeah.
I want at least 2 musical numbers per episode.
Sure. Okay.
And I've already got one in my head. Down, down, down in Goron Town.
Ooh. I hope that's like all the dialogue in the script.
Okay. Back to what people want to hear. Back to the meat of the episode, which should make Gordon Ramsay really happy.
Yes.
We've got so we had that radio silence from Reggie and the rest of Nintendo America. People will be writing them emails. Hey, where is the DKC trilogy, the DKL trilogy on the eShop? And then they sent back responses, thank you for your interest in Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was basically that boilerplate sort of response that I've actually come to really love when companies are so non-committal that's all they ever say, because it sort of became a staple of Lee Loveday's scribes, that when he just didn't want to answer a question but still wanted to post the letter, he would just say, "Thank you for your interest in Rare."
Yes.
and that is still kind of a corporate convention to this day.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see Nintendo keeping it alive without realizing that there's a postmodern audience for those words.
Yeah. And then so we had, I think most people thought, oh, well, they're saving it for the 20th anniversary. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, November 21st.
Yeah.
November 22nd,
which was,
November 23rd.
Yeah, which was right when Super Smash Brothers was slotted to release.
Right. So they had this big promotion with Smash Brothers, the multi-week promotion where you could download titles. Donkey Kong had titles, but it was things like Donkey Kong Jr.
Right, and there was also a feature in Super Smash Brothers, the game, where you could play very small like 30-second to a minute previews of games. They called it
right. They had this in Brawl too.
Yeah, it was like a greatest hits kind of thing. But unlike Brawl, it actually integrated shockingly well with the eShop. So you finish playing your little demo, and then it says, "Did you like that? You want to play the game? Or do you want to buy the game?" And then you could hit a button to actually launch the eShop. I think they tried to do something like that with Brawl, but wasn't that kind of... That was before the days when the eShop was really a thing that worked. So,
well, let's be fair. Nothing like online worked with Nintendo up until the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I still do have some criticisms of the eShop that I encountered this evening. Well,
Well, I was the hour before we started recording. I was trying to furiously download everything, and it's like you can't. There's no cart.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's my exact criticism. I'm glad that you encountered the identical.
I was just like, okay, I just want to buy them all, purchase them all in one swoop.
Yeah.
Nope.
And it won't. Yeah, because it won't let you. It won't let you even specify. Like, I would be willing to do if I want to buy all 3 Donkey Kong Lands. They're $4.32 a piece. I'll do the math. It'll be $12.96, and then let me add that amount to my account.
Nope. 10, 20,
Yeah, 10, 20, 40, 100. Or you can pay for the one game that you were just looking at.
Yeah.
There's no way to set a custom amount that you want to apply to your account or fill a shopping cart and then pay for those. It's so stupid. And now I'm going to have 6 games show up on my credit card statement.
Yeah. No, what I did was I was like, fine, here's $40, Nintendo.
Oh, did you really? So now, see, that's where they get you, though, because now you have money that you will never, ever, ever spend, because you're never going to find something that's an even amount.
Yeah, but I got really close, though. It was like $36, so...
Okay.
Anyway, so, yeah, the 20th anniversary came and went, and nothing.
Right.
And the only Smash Brothers tie-ins were the arcade games and Tropical Freeze. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
It was another one of those kind of awkward oversights. No one really knows what the fuck's going on. And it actually reinforced a lot of those absurd rumors about, the Rare logo is copyrighted by Microsoft, so they can't
and then there was another eShop promotion, and I forget what it was, where they were something about, like, each main territory, North America, Europe, Japan, had like some sort of deal with eShop games, and I don't even remember what it is at this point.
Is there a Nintendo of Russia? Do they have like any actual presence in Russia? Because I'm thinking, you said the major regions, and there's a Nintendo Australia as well. And,
yes.
And obviously there's an Asian presence beyond Japan, but I'm wondering, like, geographically, Russia is huge. I know a lot of it is tundra, but and taiga, but between Vladivostok and Moscow, is there anything in that giant expanse of land on our globe that Nintendo has a dedicated presence in?
I don't know, but I'm not sure how well the Kremlins would go over there.
That's true. That's a good point. Maybe it's an intentional oversight.
They would probably have to rename them the White Houses or something.
Yeah, I doubt Jolly or Mary Maggie would go over very well there either.
No. Although Mario and Sonic at the 2000
the Sochi Olympics.
2014 Sochi Olympics. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember what year it was from. I was trying to backdate it. 2012? No, that can't be right.
Yeah. No, leap year, presidential elections, and Summer Olympics are always on the same year, and then the Winter Olympics are staggered.
Okay.
That's how I remember it.
Okay. I just remember it by which group was discriminated against at those Olympics?
Yeah. Let's see.
Homosexuals. Oh, Russia. Okay. That was 2014.
Right. Let's see. Okay, we're going to have gypsies will be discriminated against when we have our Olympics in Kazakhstan.
Tramps and thieves will be discriminated against.
When we hold the Winter Olympics at the site of Sonny Bono's death.
Bam! Tied it together.
Yes.
Oh.
He died on a skiing trip. So,
he did.
So there was snow there.
It was tragic.
All right. Wasn't he Senator Sonny Bono? Didn't he actually get elected?
He did.
Oh my God. He paved the way for Al Franken.
He paved the snow too. And
see how well that did for him.
Yeah. Anyway, so
why are we dragging the name through a beloved entertainer through the mud?
Or the snow.
Or the snow. The muddy snow. You know, this is my first actual winter around snow now that I've moved from Texas to New York City. And snow gets really fucking muddy and dirty and disgusting. I didn't expect that. But now it's basically where the sidewalks have not been salted, there's a layer of ice about 5 inches thick, and then there's just dirty, disgusting snow covered in dog piss.
Yep, that's pretty much what happens to snow.
I had no idea. I thought it would just be white and pretty forever, and then it would melt.
Nope.
Yeah, really, really enjoying this winter.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
Yep.
It snowed today again.
Yep.
Well, at least I don't have a car.
Oh, that's a good thing. I thought
I'm so happy to not have a car. That's another thing. I'm looking at what's happening to the cars that are parked on my street. They're just covered, like all the Epsom salt is eroding away at the finish on them. And when that's not happening, they're just straight up buried in a drift of snow.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. The only plus side is like when it snows, you want it to snow a lot, so you will be snowed in. You don't want it to be snowed where you still have to drive in it.
Right. Yeah, but although I am on public transit, so I don't get snow days all that much anymore.
No, it's it's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame, Chad. This is why I like having a car, because you can be slightly lazier. There's more excuses to be had.
Yeah, I have to stand up on my commutes like a sucker. I have to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having car problems. I can't come to work today.
Whoops. Anyway, I forgot where we were entirely. That's one of the risks we run.
Sonny Bono hit a tree.
Oh, that's right. Nintendo was announcing Melissa McCarthy's return to the Ghostbusters franchise.
Her return to the Ghostbusters franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, did she play Mr. Stay Puft?
Come on, man.
I know that's cheap. Let me take that one back.
Yeah.
Let me scrub that from the history.
Did she play Gozer the Gozerian?
Originally, Paul Rubens was supposed to play Gozer.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, anyway, so Donkey Kong Country.
No, actually, I want to double down on this one. Paul Rubens was supposed to play Gozer. Was this this would have been mid Pee-wee Paul Rubens, wouldn't it?
This would have been right when before Pee-wee blew up. This would have been, I think, before the Playhouse started. Yeah, way before the Playhouse.
Oh yeah,
started.
but so he was doing Pee-wee as like his comedy act. But
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
There wasn't the HBO special or the show yet.
Right.
All right. So.
But they decided to go in a different direction. Maybe Paul Rubens was busy, but they decided to go with a model
David
instead.
Bowie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was. Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Wasn't Gozer played by a woman?
Yes.
Okay.
Gozer appeared as a woman. She could appear as whatever she wanted. So
right, yeah,
and then she became the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I thought Gozer summoned the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, Gozer was the Stay. She would take the form of the Destroyer, and she'd let them choose what form she would appear in.
Oh, I thought she was summoning the Destroyer, and she could choose the. Okay,
the cartoon retconned it so that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was a separate character when it became so marketable as an image.
Well, yeah, the cartoon also retconned the fact that in the original film, Slimer was not hawking ecto cooler to children,
which turned your poop green.
That's right. That was the major selling point.
I hope they reference that in a new movie.
I'm sure they will. That's Melissa McCarthy's original run on the Ghostbusters franchise.
And there will be some runs.
Unconventional feces. So
thank God they're not rebooting Donkey Kong Country. Hey, speaking of Donkey Kong Country.
Ooh, nice segue.
Thank you. I'm a master. So anyway, today.
Mm-hmm.
There's some promotional deal, and in Europe and Japan, Donkey Kong Country Returns was part of like the 3 games that this was part of.
Yeah.
In the U.S., they replaced it with Punch Out.
Right. There was this discount thing that was just maybe a month old. And
so we were just like, oh God, they really are running away.
And granted, Punch Out did feature Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but
it's not Returns. It was a weird replacement that for seemingly no reason. But
it was when they announced that Wii games were going to be downloadable.
That's right. There was the Metroid Prime trilogy. There was Galaxy, and then
Donkey Kong Country Returns, not 3D, but actual Donkey Kong Country Returns, which still isn't on the eShop here in the U.S.
Yes, but okay, so I think now we can safely assume that the reason it wasn't there was because they didn't want to step on this announcement.
Yeah, but it's just really weird that it took them till February 26th to do this.
Well, I think that's because they really needed to nail down their marketing angle.
Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, we woke up this morning, we went to work, whatever. We went about our routines. Maybe we drank too much last night and didn't wake up till 4 o'clock, covered in our own vomit. But no matter how you spent the morning, at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Nintendo of America announced that the 3 original DKC games and the DKL trilogy were all coming on the eShop today, right now.
They're already out.
Like, this isn't like, coming later this week. Nope, out right now.
Yep.
Guess what?
Go to the eShop, give us your money.
So this would be huge news, no matter what. And obviously I was excited, but the really exciting part was the way they made the announcement.
That's right. So longtime listeners of the show will know that Hyle and I have a very disproportionately high affection for the DKC Exposed promotional video that Nintendo Power Magazine distributed on VHS. That is basically the most 90s marketing effort that I've ever seen, certainly. It's nothing but an extreme long hair guy talking about how radical this game is,
I mean,
bro.
when you say 90s, you mean like the mid 90s.
I mean yes.
Like where the 80s are turning over into what is identifiably the 90s, but there's still a little tinge of 80s, but
post grunge, pre ubiquitous internet.
Yes, this isn't like the late 90s with like Jerry Springer and boy bands. This is like what Chad and I associate as the 90s.
Right. So it was basically, it is the quintessential embodiment of 1994, this video, and featured in it was the extended version of what became Donkey Kong Country's major television commercial, which is essentially clips of the game set to an awesome backtrack while there's white text on a black screen, gigantic, with digital strobe light effects, basically saying it's not on 32X adapters, not on Sega. Here it is.
Not on CD-ROM.
Not on CD-ROM. 32 megabits of amazing entertainment. It's only on Super Nintendo. Play it loud.
Play it loud, which was not something devised as a marketing slogan for Donkey Kong Country. It was Nintendo of America's marketing slogan at the time, and
for Super Nintendo.
Well, no, and Game Boy too.
Was Game Boy under that umbrella?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This was before they came up with different marketing slogans for each system. And actually, I think Play It Loud first surfaced, and I might be wrong, but when they first came out with the multicolored Game Boys, not Game Boy Color, but when they came out with different shells for the brick Game Boy, so they would have like green and red and blue and yellow Game Boys.
I remember those coming out, but I never associated Play It Loud with that.
Well, I don't know if that's where Play It Loud came from. It was around that time that Play It Loud started being used.
I remember Play It Loud was the name of a Super Nintendo compilation soundtrack CD that Nintendo Power put out in its catalog, and it featured tracks from Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. What else was on there? Star Fox for the SNES one, obviously. And I don't think there was any Donkey Kong Country music. I think that disc actually predated DKC. But it was called Play It Loud.
Yeah, and I mean, this was look. Play It Loud as a marketing campaign gets a lot of crap nowadays because it is very, very 90s.
Yes, but it's basically like crank it up, man, blast the game. But as Ken Lobb pointed out in the aforementioned video, this is the first time that they've ever had music that's kind of up to what you hear on the radio. You're kind of losing it, dude.
I'm actually looking up the history of Nintendo marketing right now.
Oh, yeah?
Because believe it or not, there is a Wikipedia entry for Nintendo marketing.
Oh, my God. When did Play It Loud originate?
It said apparently it was July of 94. So predates Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
But
it was right there when Donkey Kong Country mania was starting to hit a fever pitch.
All right. The advertisements extensively used youth slang of the day, advising viewers to hock a loogie at life and give the world a wedgie.
What? What does that mean? Wait, hock a loogie at life?
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? As
man,
a youth of the 90s, you should love living. Shouldn't this have been when Nintendo, a Seattle-based company, wanted to discourage children from following their idol Kurt Cobain into suicide?
Advertisements use music extensively, marrying hard rock music with video games. One early advertisement featured the Butthole Surfers, an alternative rock band.
Oh, you don't need to tell me who the Butthole Surfers are, Hyle.
No, obviously not. But so anyway, so that's a little bit of flavoring. But okay, so yeah, it's ridiculous. But I think Chad and I were both around the right age where Play It Loud is kind of like the ground floor of Nintendo marketing.
Yeah,
like
people who sort of came into their own in the N64 era, I'm sure loved Get In or Get Out.
I hated Get In or Get Out.
Yeah,
I felt like that was too bland. It was too corporate, man. It was like
it's kind of on the nose. It's like
it was like Play It Loud got a haircut and sold out.
Well, it was you. I mean, you could kind of hear the advertising company roundtable meeting where they say, okay, we want to represent Nintendo by the letter N. We've already got this logo, a 3D N, so we want to underscore the brand of the N. Are there any words that we could just do a one-to-one replacement with the letter N? Get N. Okay, well, what could they do if they don't get N?
There are no rooms at the N.
No rooms at the N. I like it. I like it, but unfortunately, the Sega Saturn already used that inexplicably. It's a little strange, but we let them go.
No, actually, that would it's Sega Genesis. Is there any Sega New Testaments that? Anyway,
yeah.
So. Yeah, Play It Loud.
That's how you drive a bit into the ground, children.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to move on. It's a mercy kill, Chad.
Okay, it was only dead because you refused to yes end.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's like going on a bear hunt, chopping someone's legs off, and then mercy killing them so they don't get mauled by a bear.
I wouldn't want to be mauled by a bear. I love bears, and to have my last dying thoughts be, oh, I guess bears don't really love me back. That would be a horrible way to go out. I would much prefer to be murdered by you.
Oh, okay. Well, when I go out, I want it to be a giant animal slobbering on me, going, oh, Xbox go.
You only have to wait 2 weeks.
Fantastic.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, obviously, like, Chad and I both associate Play It Loud with the era of Donkey Kong Country. And in fact, I think one of the last, if not the last commercial to use Play It Loud was the like tri-branded commercial that featured Donkey Kong Land 3. So it really like was spanning the whole era of these 6 games.
And I think probably a lot of the negative reaction was because Get In or Get Out and the Game Boy Color's no, that would be 99. Get In or Get Out had already established itself, and yet there was still Donkey Kong Country 3 and Donkey Kong Land 3 lagging behind using the previous campaign. So people saw it as old news. It's overstayed its welcome in the eyes of the public.
Wow.
But not in our eyes.
To it, and also we've just ridden the storm of, the absurd 90s backlash where we have to dismiss and revile everything from the 90s because...
Despite the fact that we're in 1996.
No. I mean recently. I mean historically, people turned on this, but I think we're getting to the point where it's okay to be nostalgic for this stuff again.
Yeah.
Well,
clearly Nintendo feels the same way because we were just describing the original commercial, but...
Right, well, let's describe this ad.
Yes.
This announcement trailer, or whatever you want to call it.
It's essentially the exact same thing, only broadened in scope to encompass the entire Country and Land trilogy, and it fucking ends with Play It Loud. In that same white text on a black background, strobe lights flying at the camera, and footage from the games.
And here's the thing, though. This isn't just a re-edited version of the original commercial. They rebuilt the original commercial from the ground up.
Yeah, up to the point where, like, of course, the original commercial was just for Donkey Kong Country. But in this one, they start with the Country trilogy, then move to the Land trilogy. But on the portion where they're featuring the first Donkey Kong Country, they went in and recaptured the exact scenes from the first commercial in the game, because this one's obviously in HD, so and the other one has probably gone through several layers of VHS degradation, so they wanted a nice pristine copy of it, and they, if you put them side by side and play them, which I did earlier tonight, they sync up damn near perfectly, and then it continues on to Country 2, Country 3, and the Lands. It's amazing.
It's almost like a fake out, because they go through Donkey Kong Country 3 and then it's like and then it hits you with the Donkey Kong Lands and you're like, oh my god,
someone remembers that Donkey Kong Land 2 exists.
Well, any Donkey Kong Lands exist.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody's really referenced the DKL games besides DK Vine in probably 15 years.
Yeah, I'd say that's safe. But we didn't expect it to happen, but to get 6 of our favorite games now available once again for purchase.
Did you notice the tweak they made to the Donkey Kong Land 2 logo?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they. Oh, did they? Yeah, I think so.
What was that tweak?
Well, you know how Donkey Kong Land and Donkey Kong Land 3 kind of had a different land from Donkey Kong Land 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, they tweaked it so it looked...
Hang on, I'm pulling up the original Donkey Kong Land 2 logo, and I'm comparing it with whatever the hell Nintendo used.
Yeah, this is weird, because Donkey Kong Land, the original Donkey Kong Land logo, doesn't have the middle line in the A. It's not there for some reason. Meanwhile, they use the land from Donkey Kong Land and Land 3 for Land 2, even though Land 2 had a modified land logo.
Hang on, I'm looking at the one that we've had on DK Vine for years and years and years, and
yes,
it looks the same.
No, it's slightly more centered. The land is slightly more centered. It's not as pushed out.
Oh no, I'll tell you what it is. The Donkey Kong word hovering above land has been raised up a little bit. It used to be lower, like compressed down. Or
Okay, I'm still saying it is a different land.
it is slightly different. You are right, but it's
Yeah.
not the A. It does still have the little.
Yeah, but land, the original Donkey Kong Land had the line in the A too, and nobody
This
listening.
is
at
an
home knows what we're
incredibly interesting conversation.
I know this is like only for the most hardcore people out there. Like, oh, what do you mean they don't have the line in the A of the original Donkey Kong Land? That's sacrilegious.
Well, I hope they.
How dare they?
I hope they at least preserved the Roman numerals used in the Donkey Kong Land 3 title,
Which they did.
which they did. So when all lined up, the oversight is striking, but it's still fun to see.
You know what? This whole controversy over which land logo they used just puts me off this whole thing. I want them to take them down.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, if they can't get this right, what's the point?
No. I mean, if you're not going to perfect your logo for a modern audience, I don't even think you should bother.
No, what's cool about this is that they revived Play It Loud. They didn't have to have Play It Loud at the end.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it's already cool enough that the games are up. It's already cool enough that they reproduced the Donkey Kong Country commercial to make this announcement, but they also brought back Play It Loud.
And what's cool though is that they only brought it back for Donkey Kong Country. Like you've never seen Play It Loud brought back for any other games of this era.
Yeah.
Like, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, for example. So it basically, you know, we're the only people in the world who like Play It Loud. Donkey Kong Country fans who associate it with that era, that magical era.
Right.
And basically, today Nintendo of America kind of gave us Play It Loud as a gift.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go, it's yours.
Yeah, we don't want it anymore, but we understand that you guys seem to like it for some reason. So we're just that can be Donkey Kong Country's thing now. How about that?
Play It Loud. And what I love about this ad, this trailer, this announcement, is that this is really tailor-made for the hardcore fan.
This is a reference that the people they're trying to attract to these games, namely people who have never played them before or might not even be aware they exist, would have no way to appreciate this advertisement.
Yeah, this is actually acknowledging that, yes, there are Donkey Kong Country fans. Yes, you have your specific taste. Here you go. And I think that's really cool. Like, I don't know how much of this was intentional. I'm not saying like, oh, those cats at DK Vine sure love Play It Loud.
Oh no, I doubt it's.
We've got a barn burner of a commercial for them, but no, it's.
If that was their effort, they should have known that we were all going to repurchase these games for the 8th time, regardless of what the ad said.
Yeah. Even if it was like literally just a bag of shit flaming on our doorstep that said, "Now on the eShop." We would have still done it.
Yeah, well, and that would have made us happy because we got the games. It would have made Metroid fans happy too. So that was the true win-win move from a marketing perspective. But they decided to, and when we say us, they decided to give us this. We don't mean DK Vine. We mean the Donkey Kong Country fandom.
Right, we're speaking again as ambassadors of the greater community.
Because we contributed greatly to Obama's campaign. We have been given cushy ambassadorships. They've decided to associate Play It Loud exclusively with the Donkey Kong Country series and land.
And that's terrific. That makes me so happy. I texted you this morning because I saw the news before you did, so I texted you.
Yeah.
And I made sure I sent a second text immediately afterwards saying they brought back Play It Loud.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were grading standardized test on the toilet, and you appreciated that.
Actually, my career has slightly progressed since then. But no, I was actually really busy this morning. I didn't get to see it until way later in the day, and I didn't believe you.
Because I just love messing with you like that.
But that... Yeah, he wasn't lying. It says fucking Play It Loud, and this is the sort of... I want to know who edited this ad. I don't know if it was a marketing company or if it was internal at Nintendo. Either way,
it would have to be internal Nintendo because they wouldn't waste the money on a marketing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
thing.
And most eShop ads are basically just clips from the game set to music.
You don't need Don Draper to come up with this shit,
right? Right. Although if you did, it would probably it would be a teary-eyed extrapolation of his youth and which really that's our territory when we're talking about Donkey Kong Country.
Right. Play it loud is. Are you?
Yeah, everyone wants to know how we grew up in a whorehouse, and the only solace we had was in finding a little bit of hope in Donkey Kong Country games.
Here's the funny part, though, is I actually took Chad. You're the original Hyle Russell, and I'm the original Chad McCanna. We just took each other's identity in the war.
Yeah,
and we for shits and giggles.
It was simpler that way. You know,
yeah.
Why assume a dead man's identity? Just swap with someone.
That's how we actually met when we went to war at age 14.
You know, those Clinton years, they were rough.
Yeah. We were in charge of the jizz mop. So get over here, lads. I made a mess again.
That was the last episode. We're not doing that
again. Anyway, so in conclusion though, like, should you rebuy
in conclusion,
these games?
Are you writing an essay that I need to score?
In conclusion,
it's a standard 5-paragraph podcast.
In conclusion, this is why evolution is a farce from the pits of hell.
I'll give you a 4.
Why should you rebuy these games if you have the cartridges? I've heard there's some complaints already on the forum and elsewhere that these are essentially ROMs you have to pay for. Mm-hmm. And granted, if you're going to buy them, it's only going to set you back $36 if you buy all 6 of them.
Right.
And more than likely, people are going to pick and choose which ones they want. But if you're diehard, you want all of them, it's only going to set you back $36, which for 6 games that, if you're listening to the show, might be 6 of your favorite games of all time. $36 is chump change.
Well, although consider to the point of those people that are saying that are questioning this, they've already spent $120 and then $180. They've already spent $300 on these games.
Okay,
you know. So and both of us have done this, and then of course we repurchased them when they were available on the Wii. And now we're repurchasing them again, so I can understand that criticism.
I bought 7 versions of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I don't give a shit.
Clearly you don't, but but there is a contingent of obsessive and somehow slightly less obsessive than Hyle / Russell fans out there that I hear their criticism, and honestly, I still have my Super Nintendo, and aside from the FX chip games, Star Fox and Yoshi's Island, it still works perfectly fine. So I'm kind of on the fence for the Country trilogy, but I've already plunked down the change for the Land trilogy because while I do still have my Game Boy Advance and all of my Land cartridges, it's a pain in the ass to keep that thing batteried up. And I think the 3DS is a much more convenient way to play. Whereas on a console, you change your input on your television, but you're still turning something on and playing with a controller while sitting in front of your TV. So it's not that huge of a difference to me.
Yeah, like I said, my Super Nintendo is kind of in my parents' attic somewhere. Mm-hmm. And, with the cartridges, your batteries are starting to die. And it's nice to have...
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's nice to have a hard copy offered by Nintendo, and here's
a soft copy.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yes, you mean
the opposite of what I said.
I do know what you mean. That's why I said what you mean.
The opposite of what I said is usually the intention of what I mean.
Yes.
All right. So, no, it's here's why this is important, and here's why it's a big deal that I think a lot of people are missing. Yeah, you could just get the ROMs for free. Okay. Sure, whatever.
What do you mean? Oh, like illegally download them?
Yeah,
okay.
You could do that, but you're not really supporting Donkey Kong Country, the brand, by doing that. You're not telling Nintendo, I'm willing to spend money on these games. Mm-hmm. And also, it's important that these games are available from Nintendo because these games should be culturally significant to Nintendo's history.
Yeah, I think
they should be at the same level as all of the Mario games they perpetually offer every generation, every time there's, every time the eShop comes around again. There's always the same Mario games, the same Zelda games. Donkey Kong Country was removed.
I will say that I think the point that you will be supporting these games is a little weaker than the cultural significance of them being there in the first place. I don't really think that supporting games from 20 years ago, $7.99 at a time, is really going to tell Nintendo that there's a massive thirst for these titles anymore.
I don't know, because when it first appeared on the eShop back in the Wii days, I think Nintendo actually was taken aback by how well they sold, and I think that did play into their decision to revive it.
I would be willing to bet that Returns was probably in some stage of development by that point already.
I mean, Retro wanted to do it, but they Nintendo didn't come back to them and say, okay, you want to do it? Until after Country was already on the eShop.
Is that an established timeline?
I've told you, I've got the timelines in my head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've got the timelines, I've got the flash sideways.
You've got the time vine?
Time vine, yeah.
Yeah.
It all starts with the Big Bang and ends with the heat death of the Donkey Kong universe.
Do you think that's how the show The Big Bang Theory will end?
I can only hope. And by heat death, I hope they get locked in a car in the desert.
Yeah. It'll be Jim Parsons trying to lift his eyelids to take one last look at his roommate before he chokes out, "Bazinga."
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, it's I'm not going to give Bazinga the dignity of a response. It's
although I think we should just establish that Chuck Lorre is a very, very rich man.
He is.
All right,
rich and very bitter, apparently.
Oh, well,
couldn't even get Charlie Sheen back for the finale.
Charlie Sheen thing, yeah. Well, maybe Chuck, if you didn't fucking shit talk the man in every single vanity card, he might have wanted to come back to the show for your finale.
I'm just saying, yeah, they got Rob Lowe and Rashida Jones back for the Parks and Rec finale.
Yeah.
And that was a solid B+.
But that was only because the producers secretly killed Harris Whittles, who they had a beef with.
Oh. Good Lord.
I'm sorry.
Too soon.
I'm sorry. I'm a fan of Harris Whittles. I love Harris's Foam Corner on Comedy Bang Bang. I like the guy a lot. This
is why the broader comedy community never embraced us.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Anyway.
Oh, good Lord.
I thought it was nice that their finale was dedicated to him.
Yes. I mean, yeah. It had to be. I mean, come on.
Harris's Foam Corner. All right. Continue.
My point I was trying to make was that these games should be side by side with Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, Legend of Zelda, yes, the Metroid games. They should be a perennial part of Nintendo's digital offerings, of their history. And the fact that they weren't, I think, really demoralized us as a fan base.
Yeah, against all of the better demons that we were trying to bring about, as we talked about earlier. It was difficult to in the seemingly arbitrary or spiteful absence of the games.
So now that they're here, and for the first time, the Donkey Kong Land trilogy is here. It's like our history has been reinstated, and we can easily say to listeners now who are listening, hey, you've never played Donkey Kong Land, download it on the eShop.
Yeah.
It's really easy and really convenient. It's $3.99 on the eShop. You get to fight against flying pigs. Who wouldn't want to take that offer?
Whether or not you have played Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Land, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, or Donkey Kong Land 2, or Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, double exclamation marks, or
one exclamation mark.
No, it's two. Oh, it's just... What has two of them? What has...
Double Dash.
Double Dash. Okay. Donkey Kong Country, or Donkey Kong Land 3, now you have an opportunity to play it loud.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.